Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back after a very long time away. Um, there's been a lot going on. So here's a journal I made, and as I do a flip through of this journal, I'll kind of fill you in on what I've been going through, what I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 months, because it's been a minute. So anyway, this is my design team project for Amy Joy Designs. I'm on her design team, in case you didn't know, in case you're new to my channel. If you are, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. This journal should have been completed back in June of 2024, but I was in the middle of moving across country, so it did not get completed until now. This is January of 2025. So anyway, here's the beautiful journal. I think it came out really pretty. The cover is purple fabric. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to my dear friend. She's very kind, very sweet, Tia. Thank you so much, Tia, for being so kind to me over the years. She gifted me practically everything in this book, really. Beautiful flowers and little cutouts and little ribbon and like doilies and stuff. Just she's been very kind to me. So thank you, Tia, so much for being a very sweet, kind friend. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad for your friendship and hope we'll be friends for many years to come. But anyway, here is the book. It's quite chunky, 4 signatures. That's my jam. I think it's too thick as usual, but it is what it is. Anyway, Tia made this beautiful cover, and I was supposed to use the book paper in it, but I made the signatures first. It's only for a 3 signature, excuse me, the book paper was for a 3 signature book, and I already made the 4 signatures, so I figure I'll use that in the next book that I make. Well, not the next one, because the next one's going to be 4 signatures too. The book after that, I'll do 3. So anyway, she made this beautiful cover for me, and I just finished it, put the like the papers in, as you see. But yes, she made this. Love it. And I just put like some ribbon and some fabric doily, little flowers, little wood cutouts. The word petal there is spelled out. Look at the glare, but yeah. And it says fancy here. I don't know if you can see that. There it is, fancy. And this postcard, I have kept this postcard, cut part of it out. I kept this postcard for many years. I graduated from Vermont Law School in Vermont. I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a master's degree in environmental law and policy. And I thought this postcard was just freaking gorgeous. They sent this through the mail to me, begging in quotation marks for money. And I just thought the postcard was gorgeous. I cut off part of it that had the name of the law school and kept this. Their campus is stunning. If you live in Vermont and can go look at their campus in South Rollerton, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. So yeah, I thought that was really pretty. Matches the purple. Let's jump in. I've been rambling for over 3 minutes. So this kit is called Bohemian Reverie 1 and 2. Part of Amy Joy's gorgeous kits. In case you've not used her kits, I highly recommend them. They're very pretty. Excuse me. So yeah, here's just like some peach paper on the inside. Put some gold braid there. The reason the gold braid is there is because I made a boo-boo and I had to fix it. I messed up on the back inside cover, so I had to fix that and had to fix that. So it worked out okay. So anyway, we see the lovely little stuff inside. Now, as I flip through, I'll just talk about what happened. I had to move from my home. Look at the lighting, goodness. Had to move from my home in Vermont back in June. I was supposed to be out of my home in June, but that was a long process. In case you don't know, living in Vermont is extremely expensive, and there is no housing. They called it a housing crisis. I called it a housing catastrophe, because they could have housing. They would quit having everything as summer homes. But that's neither here nor there. This is a blessing bag little guest check. Hopefully I can get it. Well, you all know what a guest check looks like. So anyway. But so trying to find housing in Vermont is, I'll just be frank, a shit show. So for a long time, I tried to find housing in Vermont. That did not work out. The landlord was selling the house, and he offered me and my family to buy it about 2 years ago when it was appraised at one price. And after the pandemic of 2020, It practically doubled, it seemed like. It did. They could name any price they wanted. If you're from Vermont or familiar with Vermont, you know how they can price gouge. So that's what they were doing. So all of a sudden, the house went from being moderately affordable to crazy. And yeah, so it's like, okay, you have to move, you have to leave, blah, 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 looking for housing. Not a good experience. Long story short, I am back in Saginaw, Michigan, where I was born and raised. I did not want to come back here. I'm just going to be frank. I did not. I've moved away from Saginaw for about, I'm going to say at least 5 times. And every time I'm glad to leave. I make no apologies for saying that. I've lived in many, many states. I don't know where I'd like to live permanently. This is cute. This place is not it. I consider this to be my temporary home. I'm living in my father's house. My father passed away in 2023. My brother passed away 5 months later. So I've just been on a downward spiral. I probably shouldn't say a downward spiral. I have been going through it, the proverbial it, for the last couple years. This is an envelope. I'm not going to take whatever's in there out. I don't know. It's some kind of little piece of paper. But anyway, so I've been going through it, and I am staying in my father's house. It's now me and my sister's house. And when we first moved back, we had to stay in hotels for months, which was awful. Just going to be frank about that. Hotel life is no joke. Hotel life is expensive as hell. Having to eat, having to pay for all of that stuff. My sister caught COVID in the hotel. I don't know who the hell gave it to her, but someone did. We got sick. I don't think I had COVID, but I had a bad cold. I mean, it could have been, I don't know. Hope not. This flips down. Never done that before. I thought that was kind of cute. So yeah, so finally it's like, well, we cannot keep staying in hotels. This is not sustainable. So eventually, okay, you have to move back to a house that you did not want to be in. I don't think I ever talked about when my father died, like in depth, but it was a very sad, horrible situation. The house was basically unlivable. The pipes had burst, full of rats and insects, and it was just it was heartbreaking. It was a very bad situation that I'm glad is over. I had to take care of my father's legal things. I had to just really step up to the plate and do things that I didn't think I would ever have to do, didn't think I would be ever able to do, but I'm glad I did it. I did not do a perfect job, but I did the best I could. And I'm just still kind of dealing with that. So anyway, the move. Eventually had to move into this house. That was a process. Stuff is still in storage. We began with 4 storage units because we had too much shit in Vermont. If you have lived in Vermont, you know it is the antique capital of the world. You can buy lots of beautiful things. I collect rare books. I collect dolls. I collect crafting supplies, and practically anything you want, you can get it there. There are thrift stores where they just practically give away silver and crystal, and they have good prices for things. I have a first edition of a book from like the 1800s. I have French dictionaries. I mean, I just have beautiful things, and they're in storage. Some of them I was able to get out. Some of them are still there, still working on that. But anyway, so moved into the house, trying to get the house livable. Me and my sister painted in here. I laid the floors in all the bedrooms. I eventually got some rugs for the living room. The hallway still needs some work, and the bathroom still needs some work. But I think I did a pretty good job for what I knew how to do. But anyway, this book was supposed to be completed back in June, and obviously I could not do it with everything I was juggling. My printer is still in storage, so what I did was, they had a really good sale on one at Canon for like half price, so I bought it. But then I have a printer through HP, their ink service program. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And it's in storage, and they kept sending me messages, you owe money, you owe money. I'm like, I should not, because I had paused my service, I thought. But they had not paused my service. They were still charging me. So long story short, that has been turned off. But then they're like, well, you can rent a printer and you can still use the service for, like, you know, different tiers a month. And that sounded like a good idea. So I could not get that, even though I had bought the Canon. And it turns out it was a good idea, because the HP is a much better, I can't get this page to turn, it's much better quality of printer than the Canon. Like, it prints more, has more capacity and everything. So now I have two printers. One is for heavy duty stuff, one is for, like, you know, light documents. So anyway, now I have a printer. I can start making journals again, which is a happy time. I'm going to start putting my journals back in my Etsy shop. I'm going to reopen that. So give me a day or so, you can start looking for journals to be in there. I'm working on a Christmas journal that should have been done in December for Christmas, but obviously I was working on this one, so I have started the Christmas journal. It'll be done pretty soon, and I'll throw that in there. I'm gonna have like sections like for Christmas books, spring, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm glad that my life is kind of settling down a little bit. Not as good as it could be, but it's better than it was. I have an interesting job. I am an AI model trainer. That sounds a lot more fancy than it is. Basically, you're just like training the AI to know how to converse with people, how to understand what you're saying to it, and how to respond and not sound as robotic as some of them do. So it's an interesting job. It's not constant work, but it's like, you know, it's like a side gig till I can do something else. I'm actively looking, and yeah. But I'm so glad to be back into making journals. I'd forgotten how much fun this was. And in case you noticed, this paper is not coffee dyed. This is paper I bought off of Amazon, because I have not been making paper recently, but I'm going to get back into doing that too. So this is a file folder. I thought that was so cute. I've experimented with a lot of different stuff in here. Had a lot of fun working on it. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to get back into making my journals. This kid is so pretty. I did something different with the doily, so you can see that's like you can tuck something there if you want to, I guess. But yeah, I have not been making paper, but I'm going to get back into that, because coffee dyed paper is just so pretty, and you can have so many. Oh, I skipped a page. You can have so many different designs in it. I mean, this paper is pretty. I like the patterns in it. There's just something about coffee dyed paper. It's just ultra special. So yeah, some graph paper there, some washi tape. And I've been having to get some more stamps, because my stamps are still in storage. My good friend Tia sent me a few, but I got like a couple more. So I'm kind of building up my collection. It's going to be weird when I do get all my stuff out of storage. There's something on my arm. Hold on. It's weird. Anyway, when I do get that, I'm going to have like too much stuff. But I don't know if you can ever have too many art supplies. Maybe not. Isn't it cute? It says, start each day with a grateful heart. Good idea. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the groove of making. Making is therapeutic. Making can be hard. It can be hard to get started, but once you get started, it's good, obviously. It's just a matter of taking the first step, overcoming the fear of making a mark and making a mistake, because if you're like me, sometimes you just kind of lose your mojo. For a long time, I could not make art. I've mentioned this on my channel before. That's how I got into journaling to start with. That's how I got into art journaling and making these books, because for a while, sorry, I got my finger in there. For a while, I was depressed and I could not paint. I'm a painter originally, and I sketch and draw. And I could not do either of those. And some kind of way I found art journaling. I can't remember how I found it. But I got into doing art journals, and then I got into the junk journals. And it's such a nice thing to do because it's a small, compact thing. You can work on it over a period of time, making like your pages and decorating the covers. Decorating the covers is my favorite part of the process, I think. It says noted there. I don't think I mentioned that before. You saw the little flowers and stuff up there. So I think this came out really cute. The next book I'm going to work on is a Christmas journal. It's called Christmas 1925, also by Amy Joy Designs. And it's going to be really cute. It's like a vintage theme. I've already started making the signatures and taking out different stuff. I'm going to start doing some stamping. I don't know if I'll do that today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But I'm getting very excited about getting back into making journals. It's been such a long time. For anyone who has gone through stuff that stopped you from making your art, I mean, I understand how you feel. I feel bad for you. But look at me. You can kind of come through it. I'm not completely where I want to be. Life is not 100% back to what it should and could be, but it's a lot better than it has been. And I miss being in Vermont, but I understand that it was time for me to go. There was no future for me there for a lot of different reasons. Vermont is a beautiful, beautiful place, but it's a place for the filthy rich. I'm going to be honest, it's a predominantly white place, upper middle class. They don't make space for outsiders, contrary to what they want you to believe. I cannot see anyone was nasty to me or my family. They were not. But there's a difference in being welcomed and being tolerated, and that's how I feel. So, the house was sold. That was bittersweet for me. I cried when I read that. I don't know why, but I did. And I was telling my mom about it. She's like, well, you feel like you've been erased, which I guess I was, because if you look at the pictures of the house, it's like I never lived there. And I guess that's just a end of a chapter. This is a new chapter. Now I live in Saginaw until I can move someplace else. I don't want to be here forever. I'm going to say I'm not going to be here forever. Every time I've left Michigan, I was glad. But for right now, it's a place for me to live, and I'm grateful. And I'm glad for the new year. And I hope that you enjoyed this flip through. It's been long, 17 minutes, sorry. And the only thing about it also, I had to be grateful. I have much better internet here, so this flip through ought to be up in the next few minutes or so, because before, oh God, my internet was trash in Vermont. Trash. It's fast here. I have good service here. Like 5Gs, 50Gs, 50 gigabytes, whatever that is, I don't know. But yeah, it's good. I'm going to just say it's good. I'm going to get this posted. Pretty soon my shop will be open and you can start purchasing my things again. So thank you so much for sticking by me. For people who are still on my channel, thank you for waiting for me. It's been a minute, but I'm back. I'm going to keep on posting. I'm going to stick it out. And thanks again, you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.